Hello, and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 433, coming to you live from the court of Sam Bankman-Fried, as we are on day, I think it is 13 in total, and so the prosecution has rested its case this morning, and the defense has gone through its first two witnesses, both Miss Roll and Mr. Dimple, who was doing a very interesting piece on what accounts to pull so far, as the defense has started its case with only 3 witnesses in total. SBF is expected to take the stand at 2 p.m. when we return. There has been a total of over 60 total objections. I think the total number is 63 objections so far, with 2 sidebars, all before lunch. And so we will be returning at 2 p.m. So far, as the prosecution started off with, they let's see here. Prosecution started off with, and the defense actually started off with let's see here. One of the things that was very interesting, this is something very, very interesting that the FBI Special Agent Mark Torino was talking about, was with signal groups and how many active chats he had. He had a total of 325 signal groups. One of them that really caught my eye was chat number 320. Yuga NFT. That was with Jay, Brian, Tej, Can Sun, Caroline Ellison, Ramak Amora, SBF, Amy, and AM. So interesting aspect of what Yuga was doing. We will have the dates of that chat once we get the evidence for that as well. I was not able to see that in time as I was writing down all the names, but I did see that. That did catch my eye out of all of the chats, as well as a conversation with Wormhole. We did see that, the prosecution sort of went through the process of signal groups. The defense on cross attempted to sort of, try to get questions out of why or how many chats had, what is the word I'm thinking of here? How many of the chats were had delete rules, and what those delete rules were, and who turned those delete rules off. I think they wanted to point out that SBF only had turned off 3 of them. So, yeah. And one of the things that we saw there, too, at the end was a bit on Exhibit 505, which we'll be having a hearing for tomorrow. So the jury may be released early tomorrow, or come in late with the hearing first on that, as testimony will be continuing tomorrow with most likely the cross of SBF, or the defense will continue their direct of him. But around 10:12 today, the government rested. Then we had a 15-minute break. As soon as we got back from the break, before we left for the break, the defense asked for its motion of acquittal, addressing charges 1 through 7, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud to consumers, fraud to lenders, and conspiracy to commit fraud to lenders, fraud to investors, CFTC, embezzlement swaps, and that was with charge 7 as well. That was denied, and that is when the defense laid out who their 3 witnesses were. Crystal Roll, who is the King's Counsel of the Bahamas. She one of 40 out of 2,000 attorneys in the Bahamas, that has special counsel, that special title and honorary. She's been practicing since '95. I will be honest, this is where I fell asleep. Sort of nodded off. I did. Her voice just was like soothing and like, yeah. I got to court this morning at 4:30, 4:40, and there was already 25 other reporters and public members here. And so shout out to everyone that got there. Not in the main courtroom. I'm in overflow today. Might return to main courtroom after lunch. We will see. But this is one of those things that it has been a long day for everyone that got here early. Next up after Miss Roll sort of went through her roles with FTX Digital Media, Digital DM, Digital Markets Limited, and how they then moved on November 12th to help with SBF at the Securities Commissions of Bahamas meeting that we heard both Gary and Kansun talk about, and then how they then had to hand over digital assets to the Security Commission in Bahamas through an order from the Supreme Court on November 12th, and then served on November 14th. We did have a lot of objections over this time. Next up was Joseph Pimley, the defense's financial expert. He pulled different queries on different accounts, trying to showcase that there was a line of credit available, and that it was written into the code as a line of credit, and how much total funds it said were in accounts versus all accounts versus just talking about 4 tokens, USD, or 4 assets, USD, Bitcoin, and USDT. That brings the total to 5.8 billion. But if you bring in all tokens, that brings it up to 8.94 billion. Then it was handed over to the prosecution. Prosecution basically just started reading back the list to him again, asking him to have an idea whether or not he thought he had done any research on the company or the thoughts behind the way the code was written, sort of trying to make him give a decision on a view of, and that was sort of outside of his scope of, he was like, I look at code. It's not my job to interview or know the purpose or the intent. It's my job is to understand the purpose of the code and do nothing more than that. The code does what the code does. It doesn't matter what someone may say. The code does what it does. Then that's what, sort of laid it out. And so everything from purpose, the shares, Robinhood, crypto deposits, lenders, even defrauding lenders. This was just a line after line after line of objections and overrules and sustains. And so then quickly, this is something that I maybe picked up on. I don't know. At 12:29 p.m., and I'm going to have to check this transcript on this, the prosecution asked Pimbley about Ventures account. And then he responded back, I do not know anything about Alameda Ventures accounts. Alameda wasn't put in there in the first place. I don't know. Maybe still half asleep. Who knows? I'm now juiced up on caffeine, halfway through a cigar, and we're going to have a great morning. Cigar number 2 of the day. Let's do this. So then back into the fiat old and kept asking the same, asked and answered, but objection after objection from the defense, because the prosecution was attempting to have financial expert make determinations based on the code of people's intent, or what people's intent were based on the code. Obviously, you can't do that. Even got into the aspect of, the Judge Kaplan making a funny side note to the prosecution about, when he used to work in his dad's restaurant, Dad wanted him to count how much salted fish there were. when he came back with a number, it was salted fish that was counted. He didn't count the pastrami. He didn't count the coleslaw. He didn't count anything else. He counted and returned the number that was asked of him. And he's like, this is what the same thing here. So you asking him, were these taken into account after you've already said that they weren't? You know, and sort of hear the judge get a little bit ticked off with the prosecution. That was followed up with another 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 objections that were sustained, meaning in favor of the person calling the objection. So the defense calling those objections. Then we took our lunch break. Quick moment just to heart and family with everyone out in Maine and everything that's going on out there. And so, yeah, please be safe. We do have SBF taking the stand at 2 p.m. Who knows how this will go? We will be coming back to you live at the end of the day, and that is what we will have back for you. It is expected that Sam will take 4 to 5 hours for direct, and then who knows how long by the prosecution. So it will finish off today with SBF, and then most likely start tomorrow. So that means we're getting to court extra early. And we will see you then. I want to thank everyone for joining in on this quick, super brief piece. Really, the prosecution didn't lay out any new information. Nothing stunning came out other than this Yuga Labs or Yuga NFT thing. And so we will have more information on that once we get it, and we hope that you all have a great day. We will see you tonight at the end of court, roughly around 5 p.m. EST. And until then, next time. As always, a closed mouth does not get fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth, meaning if no one knows you're looking for opportunity cannot come a knocking, and if opportunity does come a knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. And with that, we end with the greatest. Oh, look at that. It's a great day. A lot of sun. We end with the greatest worst knock-knock joke on the face of the planet. And that is, knock, knock. Who's there?